Hello and welcome back to the channel, Cali Legends Media. Okay, so this is part 2 of the Traviesos going crazy from East LA to Rosarito Beach and back. But this part of the story doesn't really involve the other side of the border. All it does is involve mostly me and my homeboy Solo, rest in peace, okay? And a couple of other homies that I touched along the way on this little journey, right? So anyways, the way this all started was, as a matter of fact, before I start, let me mention something, okay? Because I don't want nobody to get the wrong impression that I'm trying to promote gangs or drugs or crime or any of those things, okay? Usually when you're living a street life, there's a lot of things that you encounter on a day-to-day basis that are very addicting to certain individuals with certain mindsets, okay? The violence, the drug, the street drama, the money. Believe it or not, even going to jail. A few times I went to jail on purpose so I could make some money. Fast money. You know, I get a little something together and take it with me into the jail and, you know, get rid of it in there. It sold for more behind bars. Yeah. So like if you needed to come up on a car, that was the quickest, easiest way. A lot of my homeboys did it. In fact, that's who taught me. My homeboy Boyo, rest in peace, is the one that put me up on that trip, you know, where you get some little misdemeanor bullshit just to go in and you get rid of your stuff, get your money, because there was money at the time moving. Cash in hand, you know, so whatever you were selling, you get paid right away, you know. Then you get time served, you come out and buy yourself a car. Anyways, so there's a lot of things that were involved with the street life that were attractive and addictive. You get addicted to these ways of making money and doing things, right? Anyway, so this story with Solo begins with that exact mindset with in mind, you know, when all of this began. What happened was there was a guy that moved into my neighborhood that was moving some stuff, right? And I went over to his house and I talked to him and I told him, hey, check this out. You know, I live right around the corner and I'm actually only staying there to help my mom because she was going to lose the house, right? She couldn't afford the payments. She had gotten a mortgage out because of my stupid little brother putting things in her head to... Anyways, long story short, she got in debt. So I started moving some stuff to try to help her with some money to pay these payments, right? House payments and stuff. And this guy moves into the neighborhood. Well, I'm moving off of like an ounce at a time, and this guy's moving off of a bird. You know what I mean? He was you know, doing big things compared to me. So I told him, I says, hey, you know, you're messing everything up for me. Everybody's coming to you because I can't take care of these people the way you could, you know. And I told him what I was doing with the money and stuff. I says, you're gonna have to you know, you're going to have to cut your shit or wait until I've made my money for the month and then do whatever you want to do. But we got to do something. And, well, we'll talk about it. Anyways, we didn't talk about nothing. So my mom lost the house. Okay. And the bottom line at the end of everything, my mom lost her house and his family bought a house over on a couple of blocks down from where we both lived. And so one day I go over there and I tricked a guy who was the doorman to let me in because they weren't letting anybody in because they had a lot of stuff in there, including a backpack full of blowers, right? I'm talking all kinds of different old revolvers, automatics, Tech 9, Tech 22s, all kinds of stuff just shoved in this big backpack, right? Anyway, so I tell them that I need to leave this suitcase of my stuff, get it off the car because they're gonna take the car, and I'm staying in the street. I told this big old story to the guy. Told me, hang on to the suitcase for me. He goes, nah, man, I can't open the door. I can't let nobody in. I go, man, I'll just give it to you. I don't need to go in. And he's like, oh, he's thinking about it. I go, here, I'll go get it real quick. And I took off to the front, and I came back in with the big old green suitcase, right? So I handed to him through the door. He just opens the door enough to let the suitcase in, right? But when he pulls the suitcase and takes the suitcase, I'm left holding what I'm holding, right? And the dude couldn't go nowhere, you know? I just, here, get out of the way. Let me open the door. I went in, locked the door behind me, and it was just him and I inside the room. And anyways, they had both kind of whites, you know. They had window and they also had Yale. So a whole bird, okay, hadn't even been cut open yet. And they had some little piles that I guess they were serving off of these piles on a mirror. And then this big old backpack of blowers, right? So I opened up the suitcase and I grabbed the stuff that was on the mirror and I just brushed it all into the suitcase. Just threw it all in together, right? And then I got the bird and I shoved the bird in there. I checked dude and got whatever cash he had on him. And then I got that big old backpack and slung it over my shoulder and walked out with my suitcase. Walked to the front, got in my car, and I drove about 2.5 blocks away to my primo's house. Also, rest in peace, right? So I'm all happy, you know. I just came up. So I tell him, hey, let's go inside, and I'm taking the suitcase out of the thing, and he sees me. I'm all excited. He goes, what's up? What's happening? I go, come on, I'm gonna fix you up right now. So we go in his room, and I open up the suitcase, right? And then my niece's boyfriend comes in the room, and he's like, fuck, where'd you get that at? Oh, don't trip. I told him, you see all this stuff right here in the bottom of the suitcase? Scoop it up. You guys could have that. There was good little issues right there. And I took the bird out, you know, dusted it off, took the bird out, a baggie of that other crap, the window, you know, stuff, took that out and started going through the backpack while they're cleaning up the suitcase. Well, my niece's old man's cleaning out the suitcase. So my primo's all like into the blowers, right? And I go here, get this one right here. I gave him a 25, little automatic 25. Was really, primo? I go, yeah, go ahead, man. So I gave him that, and him and my nephew split up whatever that was just at the bottom of the suitcase, right? So anyway, so that was the beginning of everything, okay? I stood there for like a day and a half trying to figure out what I was going to do and stuff. And while I was there, my homeboy Joker comes over, right? And he's selling me this Camaro. Actually, I gave him money and I traded him some cookies, right? I made some cookies out of the powder. But the messed up thing about it is that day that he comes to pick it up, he's going outside of the house and the gang unit pulls up on him, man, and starts chasing him through the driveway, and he tosses all that stuff up on top of the roof and takes off running, right? And they have some of the homeboys that he brought with him trimmed up in the car in the front, you know, on the sidewalk in front of the house. So I don't even know if Joker ever found that stuff or came back for it or anything. I know I couldn't find it. But he ended up getting deported, you know, and he's lived over on the other side of the border now for quite some time, you know. But anyways, later on in time, my primo gets arrested with the blower that I gave him. Went all bad for him. But Solo comes and hears that I'm fucking around doing all this shit, right? So I needed a good homie with me. You know what I mean? Sometimes I would get loaded, and I wasn't about my senses. Sometimes I'd forget to get the money, or I wouldn't count it, and it'd be short, and like I was fucking up from being high. So I told Solo, hey, kick back with me, fool. I'll take care of you. I'll feed you everything. I'll get you some clothes. I go, we'll start off by here, and I open the bag. I go, pick one of these, and he goes, serio? And I go, yeah. I go, hey, homie, we're gonna be doing some stuff, man. Don't trip. So he picks this big old Clint Eastwood, big old time revolver, right? He's all in love with it. I go, all right, homie, that's you right there. And so he puts it in his pants. He goes, well, what's up, homie? What's the plan, right? So anyway, so we go to the Comfort Inn, and I rent a room there for like a week, right? And just going back and forth to the neighborhood. I really didn't miss with anybody except my homies. You know what I mean? I didn't have no outside people. My homies were making money, turning over stuff. So I just dealt with them, certain homies, you know what I mean? That I knew weren't going to just burn everything up, right? And we kicked it back there at the Comfort Inn. Sometimes I'd have pizza delivered. Sometimes we'd go out to a restaurant and eat. We always ate good. I took my homeboy shopping. We, bought fresh T-shirts and nice pants and everything. We both got, I got clothes for both of us. It was like the money was coming in like crazy fast, and pretty much whatever I put into the pot with the baking soda came back, so it was really, really potent, right? And the only thing is I really don't mess with that too much at that time. What I mostly liked was the black. So that's where I told you the story about the black in front of the junior high school, right? When I called dude down and got in the vehicle with him, and by the time we went around the block, I had all his everything, what he brought and everything he had on him, and his stereo and everything, right? Anyway, so now I got everything. I got the black, I got the window, I got the AO, got all that stuff. And constantly people calling. And I'd moved to a different hotel, rent a suite right there on off the freeway off the Santa Ana freeway on Slauson. There's I think a travel lodge or something, and I rented a suite there for 6 days. But it was Valentine's Day, and Solo wanted to go see his girlfriend, right? So I said, all right, I gave him some feria. I gave him some other stuff that he could make some money with, or do whatever he wanted with, And he went out to go do his thing, right? And me, not being in my right mind, in my right senses, I go to my kid's mom's house, right? We have 3 boys. And I take everything with me, right? And so I stay overnight there. I put the stuff up in the ceiling, where you could take this little wooden thing off, and you could get up on top of into the ceiling. So I put all the powder and everything up there, and the backpack, I just kept it with me, So the next day, Solo comes and he's kicking it there with me and stuff, and I don't remember getting in an argument. I don't know what it was, but my kid's mom was telling me that I had a goal, that I better jam, that she was going to call the cops. She wants all that shit out of her house. And I was ignoring her, right? And then it got to the point where she said, I already called them, so you better get out of here because they're going to come right now. And I believed her, I mean, I believed her for reals. So I told Solo, hey, help me get all this stuff and get it into the cart, man. He's going with the backpack, and he trips over one of the pit bulls, and all of those blowers just spill out into the front yard, man. All I needed was a horas just to pull up during this time, right? So he's picking them up, and I put down what I'm carrying, and I'm helping him pick them up, shoving them in the bag and stuff. I'm really thinking the cops are going to be turning the corner any second, man. And anyway, so we get in the car and we take off, right? So I'm thinking, man, this is too many blowers, right? So we start trying to sell them to the homies, you know, because we don't want to sell them to other people, and they end up coming back in, and they end up coming back and using them on us, right? Anyways, there was 2 of them in there that belonged to my homeboys, right? And they wanted them back, and I wouldn't give them back. I was mad. I told them, nah, man, you're out here, everybody's struggling for these things, and you're out here clucking them for dope and shit, you know. And I just didn't like it that they would do that, you know. Like, why didn't you cluck it with a homie or something, you know? And I trust this vato more, you know. I know I could get it back for him, or, you know, I'll fuck him up if he didn't give it back, but it's harder working with a homie and blah, blah, and all kinds of other mamadas excuses, right? I never gave them back. I ended up, me and him started getting rid of them like the way we could, and I gave one to my homeboy Veco, también rest in peace. Different people, right? And I couldn't be driving around with the damn things. You know what I mean? I mean, I wanted them all, but I had to do something with them, you know? So I got rid of them the way I could, you know? A lot of them I just gave away, you know, to my friends, you know? I gave just to my friends, you know? Anyways, so one day somebody calls, right? And Solo wants to go and take it because he says that I was too loaded, right? He goes, you can't be going out like that, man. You're on a good one right now. I'll take it for you. Don't trip. So you sure? He goes, yeah, I'll take it for you. So I had 2 cars. I had bought 1 car from my homie, plus I had my vehicle. I had bought the Camaro from my homie Joker. Anyway, so he took the car that I bought. I still had my car there, and he never came back, you know, Solo. Like, man, where's this homie at, you know? Then it dawned on me, man, that the only reason he would not come back is if he got busted. I knew for a fact he would not just leave. Like, he just wouldn't do that, you know? I had that much confidence in him. So I called the jail, and you know, I got his information. I called the 3rd Street, and yeah, he was busted. So the homie got busted, man, for doing me a paro. And I took care of him the best I could while he was in there, because what happened was, like I said, I was staying in different hotels, suites, going out to dinner, going out to eat every day. In the end, I ended up buying another car. That car got impounded. I had to get that one out. And I ended up buying an old Cadillac Seville, but back then it wasn't an old car. It's an old one, like if I bought it today, but I had bought this Cadillac Seville. It was nice. Anyways, but I was doing a lot of that stuff that we had got. And I needed somebody to watch to help me, you know? So I went and I picked up my primo also. The one that when I first got this stuff, I went to his house, gave him the 25. So I pick him up, right? But man, he was crazy, man. My primo was crazy as fuck. And one day, somebody calls me in Whittier and tells me they wanted us to take them something. So I'm like, all right. I go, also drive me over there. All right. So we go over there. We make it over there. It's one of my family members. My Tío Bobby, rest in peace. Mostly everybody, if I mention them, it's going to be because they're no longer with us, you know. But yeah, my Tío Bobby wanted something, and so we go over there and we take it to him. Everything went good, got paid, and we're coming back, right? Well, during this time, doing all this stuff with Solo, doing all this stuff, moving things and back and forth, I had stashed a 38 revolver in the battery, okay? And I forgot how much, I think like a half ounce of rock and then powder, right? And I also had a security jacket in the trunk, but inside the security jacket, I had stacks of money shoved into the jacket, right? So check this out. So we're driving back from Whittier, and I have the passenger seat laid back, and my primo turns around and tells me, hey, primo, how you turn on the lights? He drove us all the way to Whittier and drove us all the way back with no lights. Not all the way back, because we get pulled over in Whittier. But all this time, he has no lights on. There's lights on the car, but he don't have them on. So I go, what? And I go to sit up, and I go, are you serious? And brrr, they light us up, right? I'm like, son of a bitch. I'm not even thinking about nothing. I'm scared I'm going to jail. You know, I'm all, man, just my condition alone they would take you to jail back then, you know? So they get us off the car and everything, and he has a bag of weed inside of his shirt, in his sleeve, right? So they have us both sitting down, and the Uras are standing around us talking, and my primo starts talking with his hand, and the bag of weed falls out of his sleeve, right? Back then, it was not legal. So, anyways, they ended up booking him. And I told him, well, can I take the car? And he says, no, we're going to impound it, you know, because you can't drive. Look at you, you know. And he was driving it without a license, you know. Orale, primo, you don't even have a fucking license, you know. He's like, nah, man, you know. All right, well, fuck it then, I guess. He goes, get out of here, man. Start walking. So that I go, I take off. I call my sister-in-law. My sister-in-law picks me up, takes me back to the motel, right? And as I'm there in the motel, I'm thinking like, fuck, man, what am I going to do, man? Maybe we could bail this fool out or something. Well, let's see what happens. The next day, Rosa, his wife, calls me and says, hey, they put some additional charges on your primo. I go, additional charges for what? They say, oh, they found, no, before this happened, let me take this back. This happened, but before this happened, I realized that I had left that jacket, the security jacket, that I had opened the trunk and threw it back there. So I want to go and get my jacket, you know. So I call the impound and I tell him, hey, I'm going to get the car out, but what I need right away is my jacket for work. It's my security jacket. And they go, well, where's it at? I go, it's in the trunk. Well, hold on. They get off the phone. They have me on hold for a long time. They get back on. They said, all right, well, you could come for the jacket. You know, when are you coming? I go, I'm leaving right now. I'm on my way. So I get myself down to the impound, right? And I'm walking to the car, and there's 3 guys. They look like guys that work the yard, you know, the impound yard, standing out there. They're just standing out there. And I go right up, and they open the trunk for me, and I go straight for the jacket. And as I'm picking up the jacket, I could feel that there's the money's in there, right? So I get the jacket and put it on, and I take off, right? I'm happy, you know. And I got to work on getting this car out, right? So later on that day or the next day, Rosa calls me and says, hey, check this out. They put additional charges on your primo. I said, additional charges for what? For possession of a firearm, possession of a rock, cocaine, and possession of powder, you know. And I go, what? And I was thinking, the first thought that came to me was, man, that fucker was ripping me off or what? You know, I go, what do you mean? Like, what was he doing with all that? He says, they found it in the car underneath the hood by the battery. So when I went to go get my jacket, those fools were probably waiting for me to go to the hood and ask to take something out from there. You know what I'm saying? But I didn't. I had actually forgot about that stuff. And when she said that, when Rosa mentioned it to me later on, the same day I got the jacket or the next day, the day after, I realized that I had left that there. So yeah, they charged them for that. So anyways, that was their, I guess, their plan, to see if I would ask to get something from there, you know. And my primo went ahead and he rode that beef, and I tried to send up as much as I could. He did all right. The bad thing about it though is that he drank, and so he was going through DTs in there, you know, where you hallucinate and stuff. Yeah, he went through that bad. And for myself, what totally ended me was I was doing so much stuff that my feet got like balloons, man. You know, my ankles, my legs, everything, they were all swollen. And one day my mom came to the hotel room, and I was in my boxers, and I opened the door, I happened to have no sandals, shoes, nothing. And she seen my legs, and she goes, "What's wrong with you?" I go, "I don't know, my feet got," she goes, "Hell no, something's wrong with you. Come on, I'm gonna take you to the emergency." So yeah, we go, and what was wrong with me was that I had so much toxins in my blood that it was affecting me that way, where they swelled up like that and were turning color. And they told me straight out, man, if you don't stop doing what you're doing, you're gonna die. You know, it's not a question. It's just a question when, you know. And I believed them, you know. So I went ahead and tried to cut back as much as I could. I never really stopped, but I pumped the brakes big time, man, because I was feeling like something not normal. Like I was dying, I'm sure, killing myself with all that crap. And anyways, you know, yeah, just a little story, you know, on going through a crazy trip. And like I said, man, that lifestyle, it could become addictive, man. You know, you get caught up in all the excitement, the adrenaline, the getting away from the police and making money, easy money and all that. But it's all just a trap, you know. Look what happened. My best homie, my tights, ended up getting arrested because of me. And my primo, who was one of the homies that I was closest to in the barrio too, on top of that, ends up getting busted and doing time for me because of me, you know. And me, myself, was poisoning all these other people with this shit just to get money. My own homeboys, fucking up their minds and their lives. I didn't. All I thought about was the money. The money I was making, the money they were gonna make, you know. And really, like they say, man, not all money's good money. Yeah, man. Gotta be careful with the things we choose to do in our lives, man. For any of you that are young, that are caught up, man, it's all a trap. Look where it was ending to. Either prison, incarceration, or a wooden box 6 feet down. That's where everybody practically involved, hands-on with this, was headed, you know, or ended up. So let's be careful, people, man. Let's hang on to our freedom the best we can, and avoid this kind of lifestyle. It might seem attractive, it might seem exciting, or whatever you want to call it, but it's all just a big fucking trap, you know, to get you caught up. And that being said, I'm going to end this video. I hope you guys really get the underlying message of this whole story and read between the lines. God bless you. God bless your families. Stay free, people. Stay free so we can be out here with our families and enjoying our freedom. Thank you for watching. I hope to see you on the next one.